topics 1.10 to 13. So example 4, the piecewise function for k of x is below. Find the values for a and b that makes k of x continuous everywhere. So be sure to use the definition of continuity and demonstrate proper notation. So again, if something is continuous, the first condition must always be met, which is again, h of 1, or in this case, k of 1, is defined. All right. So let's look for that, or not k of 1, I'm sorry. But k of x is defined, right? So whichever values we're looking for, it's k of x is defined. The second condition, again, the limit exists, right? So the limit as x approaches any value c of k of x exists. And again, the last condition is for that the limit as x approaches c of k of x matches k of c, right? K of c. So the first one, it should be k of c, my bad. All right, so here, again, so let's look at, if you're looking at piecewise functions, remember it's usually where they cut off. So at 2, right, 2 is a first limit. So let's see what happens at x equals 2. So at x equals positive 2, right? So it should be defined, if you notice, for the bottom function right there. So let's look for k of 2. I plug it in, I'm going to get a times 2 squared plus b times 2, and then plus 3. So if we simplify this, we're going to get 4a plus 2b plus 3. So that's k of 2, all right? And then let's see what the limit is approaching, because that could pretty much, if we want it to be continuous, then the third condition must be met, right? Like those two have to match. So that means that they have to be equal to each other. So let's see what the limit as x approaches 2 from the left side first. It's going to, so of k of x. Now, if you notice on top right here, we have a difference of squares. So that means I can factor out. So the limit as x approaches 2 from the left side, that would be x minus 2 times x plus 2 divided by x minus 2. And if you simplify this, again, we can remove these two, the x minus 2. And that leaves us with, right, the limit as x approaches 2 from the left side of x plus 2. So my answer would be just positive 4. All right. And then if we're approaching it from the right side, pretty much it's going to be the same thing as looking at this equation right here, right? So the limit as x approaches 2 from the right side, again, must match of k of x, will be equal to the same thing, 4a plus 2b plus 3. So that pretty much gives us our first equation, all right? So let's write it in the, or work on it right here in the center. So our first equation to find a and b is going to be 4a plus 2b plus 3. And again, they have to match it too. So the limit has to go to 4. So this has to be equal to 4. All right. And then let's look at the next jump, which is at positive 3 right there. Okay, that's where a function is going to. So let's see what happens at x equals 3. All right, so sorry about that, x equals 3. So here, what we want to do is pretty much find k of 3 first, and that would be plugging it into the bottom function, which is 2x minus a plus b. So this is going to be 2 times 3 minus a plus b. All right, and then the second function, okay, well, let's simplify that, my bad. So it's going to be 6 minus a plus b. All right, so that's our first condition. The second condition, we want to find the limit as x approaches 3 from the left side. So we're looking at the top one here, all right? And that's going to be of k of x. So that's, the top function would be a times 3 squared plus 3 times b plus 3. And again, if you guys simplify that, you end up with 9a plus 3b plus 3. All right. And then the limit from the right side, if we're using the limit from the right side. So if we apply the limit from the right side, we're going to get pretty much, again, the same thing, 6 minus a plus 2b. So the limit as x approaches 3 from the right of k of x. Right, so I plug it in, I'm going to get exactly the same thing as I get for k of 3, which is 6 minus a plus b. So that would be my second equation to set it equal to each other, right? Remember, these two have to match, all right? Because it's the same one that I have right there. So we're looking at 6 minus a plus b equals the other one, which is 9a plus 3b plus 3. All right. And now let's look to simplify this pretty much. So let's work on the first equation. So that's going to be subtract 3 from both sides. We want our variables to be on the same side. So that's going to be 4a plus 2b equals positive 1. All right. And then we want to combine the second equation. Let's see what happens there. So subtract 9a from both sides. That leaves us with negative 10a. Subtract 3b from both sides. That leaves us with negative 2b. And then the final part would be pretty much subtract 6 from both sides to get rid of to have the same variables and the constants on the same sides. So that would be negative 3. And now that we have this information, again, if you notice, these two, if you guys remember how to do this, is a system of equations. We have two variables. So the first job would be to eliminate one variable. In this case, we can use elimination just by adding straight down. And that's what I'm going to do right here. If you notice 2b and negative 2b, they zero out. And then you combine the a's and get negative 6a equals, combine those two, you get negative 2. Divide both sides by negative 6. And we end up with a equals positive 1/3. And now to find b, you use either the first equation right here or you use the second equation. I'm going to go for the first one because it seems just a lot easier. So we substitute 4 times 1/3, right? Second part of our solving for the system of equations, plus 2b equals 1. So that's going to be 4/3 plus 2b equals positive 1. If you want to get rid of the denominator here, you just multiply both sides by 3, and that should pretty much fix it. So that's going to be 4 plus 6b equals 3, right? Make sure you guys distribute. And we end up with, subtract 4 from both sides. So 6b equals negative 1, so therefore b equals negative 1/6. So the two values that would make the a and b values that would make this function continuous across the entire plane would be a equals positive 1/3 and b equals negative 1/6.